If you're looking to invest in a high quality top that brings a lot of features to the table and overall performance, this Bestop Supertop Glide soft top in black twill is a great choice for your 2018 or newer two-door JL Wrangler. Now this is great whether you have a hard top or a soft top, considering it comes with everything that you need for a full install. So if you are switching from a hard top to a soft top and need all the hardware, or currently have a soft top that needs some restoration or just some better quality features, this is a good solution for you. It's also a traditional looking top with a squareback style, which is great if you prefer that look compared to fastback options, or you know you need or want the additional space in the cargo area for gear or pets. Now, being a premium option, it's going to bring some premium features to the table compared to some other more straightforward choices and even the factory style top. Now, one of those features is the Sunrider panel that can very easily flip back with these latches here for a more open air experience. And this not only opens up the top for the front passengers, but also the back passengers as well, allowing for a partially open setup that's effortless to open and close. Now the window panels on the back are also zipperless, so you can slide them off and on without having to deal with any snagging zippers. And when the windows are off in the back, it opens up the entire back section. You're not gonna have those two traditional pillars there like you would with the factory top. And that allows you to run this as a safari style top, whether you have it open in conjunction with the Sunrider or not. Now the most notable feature about this specific top though is the fully convertible design with the addition of those other features and the Glide technology, making this top effortless to fold back on the Glide tracks instead of fighting it and folding it like the factory one. This one is going to basically fold itself down whenever you need to, and you can do this with one person, unlike the factory one, which you usually needed someone on the other side for, making this hassle-free to open and close and configure on a day-to-day basis. This is made of a 27-ounce triple layer acrylic twill fabric, which is heavier and more durable than the traditional black diamond vinyl or sailcloth material. Now, those additional layers and the additional weight help with insulation for both heat and cold and reduce some of that exterior noise breaking into the cab area. Now, on the back, this top has 30 mil tinted window panels with full perimeter heat sealing for a durable construction, and the tint is DOT approved for some peace of mind and extra security there. Now, the rest of the kit comes with all of the components needed for an easy and well-fitted install, including door surrounds, the tailgate bar, the pre-installed header here, as well as the whole frame system and all the little hardware, so you won't have to worry about reusing or outsourcing parts. Now this is roughly $2,100, making this more of a premium choice on the page. And the effortless operation, the higher quality and more heavyweight material, and the multiple configurations that this has is where the soft top really shines, making day-to-day life really easy when it comes to configuring the top, and allows you some peace of mind that it's going to hold up longer than the average choice. It also includes everything needed for the install compared to replacement fabric options that don't include hardware, making the price well worth it if, again, you want to invest in a high quality and more inclusive system when it comes to your JL. This install is a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, strictly because of the length of the install, and it'll probably take you about 4 hours or so to get this on your Jeep. I do recommend installing this in 72-degree or higher temperature weather for a good stretch on the fabric, so it just makes it easier to install this. Cold weather is not going to allow this to stretch as much, so warmer temperatures is definitely helpful, or even laying the fabric out in the sun for a little bit. However, at this point, I am going to hand it over to one of our installers here. They're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can get this onto your JL at home. So that wraps it up for me. Let's get into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact or a ratchet, an adapter if necessary, 2.5mm Allen bit, T20, T30, T40, and T50 Torx bits, a 10mm wrench, a pair of angle cutters or scissors, the provided thread locker, and also not shown here is an extra set of hands. Today we're going to be installing a soft top on our Wrangler, so let's get started. So the first thing you want to make sure of is that whatever top you had on your Jeep before is fully removed, whether you had a hard top, soft top. You want to take that off completely before we begin. Now once you have that off, the first thing we're going to do is build our door frames. These are marked with their corresponding side by either green or yellow stickers. So we've got our passenger side, which is our green stickers. We're going to line these two sections up with the bolt holes like so. And then into these, we're going to install our provided T30 bolts with 10mm flange nuts on the other side. So we'll get those in place now. So now we'll get these two parts slotted in together. Install our first T30 screw. We'll get our flange nut loosely in place on this side. That'll hold that. I'll get our other side in. Now that we have both of these in, we'll grab our T30 Torx bit on a ratchet and a 10mm wrench. We'll tighten these down. Now once you have your first side assembled, you can do the same thing for your other side. Now we can install our door frame assemblies onto our front doors. Now we have a dowel at the bottom rear section that's going to line up here, as well as with our bottom bolt hole. And then our two upper mounts are going to go onto our sports bars. We're going to get our through bolts in there as well. We'll line up our dowel first. And we'll get our hardware loosely in place. Now first we're going to get our shorter T40 Torx screw with a flat washer into our bottom mounting point. Again, we're just going to loosely install this for now. Okay. Next we can get our upper two T40 Torx screws in. They're going to be your longer ones. And we're going to set this in position. Send these through. Now, you might have to wrestle with this a hair to get it firmly in position. Once you get that through, you want to thread these in. We'll do the same thing for this rear one, then we can come back and tighten these down. Now once you have all of your hardware in place, we'll come back in with our T40 Torx bit, tighten all three of these down. Then we'll get our lower bolt as well. And once you have this side in place, you can repeat the same process for the other side. Next, we're going to come to our tailgate bar area. We're going to install our provided tailgate bar retainers. They're going to be right down here. We're going to grab our T50 Torx screw. Get this in place. Make sure this is sitting nice and flush. Grab your T50 Torx bit, tighten this down. And you can do the same thing for the other side. So next we're going to begin assembling our main skeleton for our top. We're going to do this on the ground and upside down. It's much easier to do it this way than to try to do it on the vehicle. We're going to start with our main bow assembly as well as our quarter window retainers. We're going to get these installed with our provided T30 Torx screws. We got two on each side. So we'll line these up with our threaded holes on each one, get those in place and get them tightened down. Now we'll get these in place. Now one thing to note is each part is labeled with an individual part number, so if you get confused, you can refer to your instructions to find the correct parts. Get this lined up. Put our screws in place. And we'll grab our T30 Torx bit, tighten these down. Now once you have your first one on, you can do the same thing for the other side. Next we'll get our Sunrider arm assemblies on. So we've got our right one on this side. Again, we're going to grab two of our T30 Torx screws. We're going to get this lined up with our two mounting holes right here. Get our hardware in place and tighten these down. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. So got this lined up. Get our screws in place. Once again, we'll use our T30 Torx bit, snug these down. Next, we're going to install our number 3 bow assembly to our Sunrider arms. Now again, these are facing upside down, so you want to make sure your latch area is facing down. And we're going to grab two more of our provided T30 Torx screws. per each side. Get these lined up. Get our hardware loosely in place. Now once you have this side loosely in place, you want to do the same thing for the other side, then we'll come back and tighten these down. Now we'll grab our T30 bit and tighten these down. And you can tighten the other side down as well. All right, so now we're going to assemble our 4-bar mounting brackets. So we've got our main hoop. The shorter side is going to be facing the front of the vehicle. We do have this facing right side up. Then our inner brackets are going to line up on the inside of our main bracket. What we're going to do is grab one of our T30 Torx bolts with a flat washer on it. It's going to come in from the inside. Here we're going to get our bushing into our main hoop, and we'll get our plastic thrust washer onto our pivot nut. That's going to go through and line up with our rectangular hole on the inside of our bracket. And we can install our screw. Then we'll get our other side in place and we'll tighten these down. Now we'll tighten this down. You do want to hold a finger on your pivot nut and make sure it doesn't back out. We've got our T30 Torx bit. Once you have this side tight, you can do the same thing on the other side. Now we've got our main hoop back over here, which is also still flipped upside down. We've also got that number 4 bow bracket that we just assembled. We've also got that flipped upside down. That's in the center of our main assembly. That's going to mount up to our middle point. And just like with the other pivot nut, we're going to do the same thing here. So we've got our thrust washer and our bushing. It's going to go in. Get this through. We're going to get this lined up. Then we can install our T30 Torx screw. Then we'll tighten that down. Once you have this side on, you can do the same thing for the other side. Now we can mount our pivot arms. They're going to mount at the rear of our main bow assembly into these large holes. So once again, we've got our pivot nuts. Now these are a little tricky to get into here. And get them in. Definitely want to keep a hand on these to hold them in place. Then on the other side of that, we're going to throw in another centering bushing. We'll get our arm matched up with our pivot bolt. Again, these do basically hold them in place. We'll get our T30 Torx screw with flat washer. There, you want to hold this flush as best you can. Tighten these down. And you can do the same thing for the other side. Now once we've reached this point, we're going to flip our assembly over so we can start to get it in the shape we need it to go onto our vehicle. Pick this up. Flip this over. Next, we're going to install our 2 longer straps onto our rear bow here. We're going to hook these in, just like so. Get them secured onto our hooks. Now that we have these in, we're going to fold our assembly over so we can hook the other end of our straps to our other bow. So now we've got this folded over. Our other end of our straps. Here. You want to make sure these don't twist at all. Get this one in, we'll do the same thing for the other side. Next, we're going to install our final bow assembly. That's going to go onto these kind of quarter moon brackets here. So we're going to grab 2 more of our T30 Torx screws for each side. Get those loosely in place. We'll get our top ones in first. You may have to pull in on this bracket a little bit to get it to line up. That's perfectly normal. Once we got our top two in, we'll get our bottom two on each side, and then we'll come back and tighten these down. Now we'll once again grab our T30 Torx bit and tighten these down. They have to lift up on this a little bit. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now we've come to the part where we can set our assembly onto the top of our Jeep across our sport bars. I've got an extra set of hands. I highly recommend that. We're going to pick this up, set it onto our top roll bar, and get it in position. Now that we've got our main assembly up, we're going to grab 4 of our provided T50 Torx screws. We'll get 2 in on each side. We'll get our rear ones in first. This is going to kind of hold it in position. Then we'll go up and get our forward ones in. This one's a little bit hard to see, but it's right behind where your mounting bracket is. And again, our T50 Torx screws. Get right into place. So we'll get our other side in as well. Then we'll grab our T50 Torx bit and tighten these down. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. Now we're going to get our rear pivot arm mounting brackets in. Now there's a pin that's going to go into this top slot, and then we're going to get our T50 Torx bolt into this lower mounting hole. So we're going to bring this around. Line that pin up. Let's set seats. Line this bolt up. That in. We'll grab our T50 Torx bit. We'll tighten that down. And you can do the same thing for the other side. Now we can attach our rear hold down straps. They're going to go right onto the snap on our bracket, just like so. And you can do the same thing for the other side. Next, we're going to fold our frame assembly back. Enough to expose this upper mounting hole, just like so. We're going to line our tie down strap up. Get our other T50 Torx screw into place. You may have to adjust this a little bit more. Get that in. Then we'll grab our T50 Torx bit and tighten this down, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now we can install our lower support bar to this rectangular slot. So we've got our bar, we're going to get our centering bushing, and our pivot nut. Going to go through from the inside to the outside on this one. Get this lined up, set that in place. Get our provided T30 Torx screw and flat washer in. Now it's important you hold your pivot nut very firmly against this bracket so it doesn't move. We use our T30 Torx bit to tighten this down. And that'll drop right there. And you can do the same thing for the other side. All right, so now that we have our frame assembly all in place, we're gonna start working on our fabric top. And we do have this laid out. We've had this laid out for a while. I highly recommend doing this before you just go ahead and open it up and try to throw it on. It allows your fabric to relax a bit, which makes it a lot easier to install. What we're gonna do is remove these 2 T20 Torx screws from each side of our header. We're not gonna discard the hardware, but we are gonna need to pop these out. So we've got our T20 Torx bit on our impact. We'll get these out real quick. And once we have our first 2 out, we'll do the same thing for the other side. All right, so now we do have our fabric top laid on top of our windshield and it draped over our hood. So this is the front of our top. It is flipped to the right side. The rest of it is basically flipped over onto our hood. Now doing this at home, I recommend putting a blanket or something like that over your hood to protect your paint, just in case, because there is a metal hoop at the far end of this top. So we've got this here laid out, and this is the way it is going to sit on our header. We're going to fold our assembly forward so we can attach this to our header portion of our top. So we'll get this folded forward. I also recommend probably taking your shoes off or something like that to prevent damage to your seats. We're going to line this tab up with our 2 mounting holes on our header. Then we're going to grab 2 of our T30 Torx screws for each side and get those in place. Get this lined up. Get our screws in position. And once you got both your screws in, we're going to tighten this down, and we can do the same thing for the other side. Once again, we're using our T30 Torx bit. Now we've got our top folded up, and we're going to pull this all the way back. It sits back and drapes along here. Now we're going to bring back our T20 Torx screws. We've got the front of our soft top folded up. We've got our tab lined back up, our T20 Torx bit. We'll get these back in place. Our other one, let's back up once again. Now once we have these in position, we'll grab our foam seal. Move the adhesive backing from that. These are going to go right over that tab and line up in this channel. Just like so. And you can do the same thing for the other side. All right, so now we're going to fold our top back. Want to be careful, it is a little bit springy. Get it to a rest point, like so. And we're going to take this tab for this cable and we're going to mount it here. So we'll get that in position. Now we're going to cut the zip tie off either with scissors or angle cutters. Get that zip tie out of the way, and we're going to get our barrel screw lined up. Now it's very important you put your cable with the flush side down onto your bracket. Get this in place. And we're going to take our 2.5mm Allen and tighten this down very gently. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. So now we can hook our rear halo strap. So this bar is going to hook into our rear bar on our fabric. So we've got our shorter straps. Is hooked in here. And down here. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. And this is what it should look like when strapped. So now we can attach our rear bracket to our rear hoop. So we'll need to bring this up. Kind of fold our rear hoop. We're going to grab our T30 Torx screws. Get those lined up. I'm going to get one of these started. Get our second one in place. Then we'll get our other 2 in, then we'll come back and tighten these down. And once you got all your hardware loosely in place, we'll tighten these down again with our T30 Torx bit. Now for this one's kind of tight, so you want to use a ratchet. Now we're going to fold our top forward. Now this is going to be pretty tight once it reaches the forward position. top forward. Very gently for the first time. Lock our top in position. Now we've got these Velcro covers for our hoops. I'll get these lined up. I like to start around the middle. Make sure these tuck in properly. And we'll do the same thing for our other hoops. Next, we're gonna get our side windows in. So we're gonna get our upper channel into this slot here. You notice we have our top kind of folded up. It's gonna make things a lot easier. So we're gonna slide this channel in. It does help if you hold the back of the window when you start this. Just gently guide it in. We're gonna get our back portion secured because it's a lot easier to do that first, and then we'll get our slots in the front and the bottom. And we're gonna get our upper tab into this keyhole. So with that to lock in position, like so. And we'll get our bottom strap button in. Now we're gonna get this bottom tab locked into our slot, so it kind of just hooks in. And we'll just push it into place. It does separate between this back corner and your side bottom panel as well. So you still have room to get this out, which you want to do before we get our front in. So now we're going to pull the front of our window tight, get this front lock tab in the channel. Make sure it's sitting evenly. You're going to need to fold this forward. Once you get it started, it does make it a lot easier. Tuck our upper tab in there. Now we can get our bottom channel in. Same principle. Get this started. So that locks into place. Now we can attach our rear windows. So we're going to send our upper channel through first. Got that in. Let me get this nice and centered up. Okay. Now we're going to get our tailgate bar into our rear window. Once again, line your channel up with your rear window. This in. This centered up. This is going to line up with these mounting tabs over here. Even if you kind of want to just line it up, readjust your window, you can. Once we have those in, lock that into place. Now we're going to get our side tabs in. Get this in position. Fold it into place. We'll lock our lower tab on. Then we can do the same thing for the other side. Once you got everything latched in, you want to make sure that your tailgate bar is hooked. It does come out in a pivot motion. Most times when you're putting your straps in on your window, it'll kind of just pop into place if it's lined up right. So once we've got that all done, we're going to fold our top over and Velcro everything that needs to be Velcroed. We'll be good to go. Alrighty, that about wraps up our review and install of our Bestop Supertop Glide Soft Top in black twill finish for your 18 to current Jeep Wrangler JL 2-door. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.